I recently hit 1000 days in my Minecraft world, and because of this I decided to do something incredibly original and edit together all of the videos, minus the first one because that one sucked, into one long movie. So you can put this on to watch in the background, to sleep to, or even just to watch to catch up. But here is my journey across the past 100 days in this block game. Enjoy! Here we are, back playing Minecraft. Today I want to go mining, upgrade the enchantments on my gear, and build myself a starter base. Let's start with the mining part. I did a few more trades with my villagers to get myself some more golden carrots, before breaking the #1 rule of Minecraft to get down to the caves for mining. Fuck you, creeper. I approached a big hole and got attacked. I'm really bad at falling in caves though and got pretty low. I ran down this hole which I found a zombie in. I quickly killed it and killed the attacking skeleton. After taking a breather, I left again. However, I was quickly shafted back into the hole by 2 more skeletons that were attacking me. Knowing I couldn't get out easily with them on the outside, I dug up and out to escape from their endless shots. Whilst exploring, I stumbled across a dungeon. A dungeon so close to spawn would be so useful to have. Oh, it's just a zombie spawner. Oh well, rotten flesh can still be traded to clerics, so it's probably still worth making a farm out of... fucking useless sacks of shit anyway! I tried venturing further down, however eventually hit bedrock. I was at deep slate. I don't know why I expected. Mining with a single torch and optifine for a light source isn't the most efficient thing to do while mining, so I began heading back up to the surface, but not before beating the shit out of some random mobs for loot that I don't really need. I found myself in a water cave which, to my surprise, wound me back up on my base, right next to my villagers. Being back on my base, I was able to clear out my inventory to prepare for going back down to the caves, which is when I realised that I had actually found other side in the dungeon. I had no idea I could even spawn in there, but it did. I ventured off to go and find some more coal, as coal is a material that you can't find at lower levels. And while I know what the famous song says, turns out it's actually a good idea to mine at night, for many reasons, so I'm going to go ahead and do exactly that. I did do some exploring of more shallow caves, which, while it did mean I couldn't find any diamonds, it also meant that I could collect other materials at a higher frequency than I would be at lower levels, if even available at all, so it was worth it. However, I didn't stay for long, and I would find myself going deeper. I stumbled across an amethyst geode, which was interesting. Though, without much need for amethyst currently, I decided to leave it alone. I mined for a little bit longer until eventually, it happened. Ahem. Obscure references. We love them. I ended up getting only 2 diamonds from this vein, which, after 1.17, I can't say I'm surprised by. However, that does leave me with enough for an enchantment table, so I can't say I'm too disappointed. I stumbled across another dungeon. This time, it was a skeleton spawner, which is a lot more useful. After disabling the spawner, I looted the chests, which gave me a saddle. This gives me a very good idea of what I want to do when I get back to the surface. Nah, I'm just kidding. I want to finally tame Lois. I was only really finding redstone after this, and after a failed attempt to kill a bat, I decided to just head back up to the surface. When I got back up to the surface, I took a little nap and got back to work. I noticed there was a ruined portal very close to my base, which I had somehow not noticed yet. I looted it, and yeah, when you've got infinite diamond tools from your villagers, it's hard to get excited over gold tools and a fire charge. Though this did remind me that I'd forgot to gather some obsidian while I was down in the mines, so that is an order of business that I need to remember to do. I went to tame Lois, who was being a stubborn little horse, but I eventually won her over. I accidentally opened a fucking reel. I didn't mean for that to perfectly sync. I then set out to go and find a lava pool so I could get some obsidian. Lois isn't the fastest horse, but she has a decent amount of health and her jump is pretty good, so she's not completely useless. I found a lava pool pretty close to my base and got me some obsidian. I gathered up enough obsidian to fill the corners of my nether portal because I ain't no broke bitch, as well as getting some for my enchantment table that I'm now able to make. I put together my nether portal on the side of the mountain and lit it with a fire charge because I'm quirky. I'm not going to go to the nether just yet as I don't want to completely rush my way towards... Hi Lois. How are you today? All of my ores that I mined just now still need smelting, so I made myself a few furnaces and threw them on all to smelt. Okay, real talk. I've tamed many horses in Minecraft, but Lois has to be one of the most curious horses I've ever met. She always came up to me like she was interested in what I was doing. More people should be like Lois. The world would be a better place. I farmed up all my wheat to trade with my farmer, which again, Lois was very interested in. I think she wanted to help out, but I had to tell her that A, I don't need help, and B, she's a fucking horse. I traded all my resources with the villagers to get myself enough emeralds to buy myself some more bookshelves. They're quite pricey with Mr. Mendy, but it's easier than getting leather from a farm, so I'd rather buy them from him. I farmed up all my sugarcane, which I stupidly made into sugar like a dumbass, instead of the paper that I needed. I finally made my enchantment table and started placing the bookshelves down for it. I gathered more wood to trade with my Fletchers when I noticed another cat nearby. Well, if the cats keep spawning, I might as well tame them. I hopped in the water and grabbed some fish. However, this cat was a lot hungrier than my jelly cat, so it took a little more convincing. I will have a cat army to watch over my villagers. I traded up for the rest of my bookshelves and finally got to work with enchanting all of my tools. But not before I saw yet another cat, which of course I tamed. And after failing to make a grindstone, I started enchanting. The enchantment went just about how you'd expect the gamble of the enchantment table to go, though I can't say I'm crazy disappointed in my enchantments. With the enchantments done and the mining session done, I decided to begin work on my starter base, and I've decided I want to build it right here. This here is the SS Dino, cleverly named by my girlfriend, who also chose the flag patterns. I'm using a mod called Lightmatica to make a blueprint of the build for easy transferring to my survival world. The first course of action for the construction of the SS Dino is to make an air pocket where the boat is going to go. As you may or may not know, building underwater is a pain in the ass, so I want to basically remove all the water that surrounds the boat's location to make it easier to build. I'm doing this with the old sand method as I am yet to have any sponges. However, it's not a big boat, so it's not too big of a deal. I started by collecting up a boatload of sand, get it? To drain out the area that I placed the schematic in. I then came back to the base and marked out a platform for the sand to fall on using non-falling blocks. I also started placing the sand to drain out the area. This took a hell of a lot of my time, so enjoy this little time lapse of me placing and breaking blocks while I tell you interesting facts about boats. Ships have a finite lifespan. Most ocean-going cargo ships have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years, but a plywood or fiberglass sailboat has 30 to 40 years. Ships constructed of solid wood can survive considerably longer, but they must be maintained regularly. If properly maintained, a steel-hulled boat can survive over 100 years. Because freshwater lakes are less corrosive than seawater lakes, freshwater ships endure longer. Even though boats are highly robust, some sink when they clash with other vessels or objects. In 1987, the passenger ferry Dona Paz crashed with an oil tanker, killing 4,375 people. The Titanic, formerly thought to be unsinkable, sank in 1912 after colliding with an iceberg. When the ship sank, 1,517 people died. Only 40 individuals were on board the first ship to reach America, including Christopher Columbus. It was about the size of a bus and didn't surpass 70 feet in length. Boats were utilised about 900,000 years ago, according to evidence discovered by numerous archaeologists. Approximately 18 million boats are owned by Americans today. Others are business boats, while others are utilised for leisure purposes. Boats have a limited lifespan. They are no longer considered safe or stable after that. Cargo ships that travel across oceans typically have a lifetime of 20 to 30 years. Even if they are built of softer materials like plywood or fiberglass, sailboats are designed to last 30 to 40 years. The Seawise Giant, an oil tanker constructed in 1979 and decommissioned in 2009, was the world's longest boat. Anyways, enough of that. Something that I really like about Live Mantica is it tells me what materials are used within a specific build and exactly how many you need to build it. Knowing this, I started to collect all of the materials I needed for the boat. When I built it, I made sure to use only materials I had easy access to, as the SS Dino is my starter base, so it needs to be easy to build. I went out looking for more resources for the ship when I noticed something interesting.
That fucking ocean monument?
Oh my god, it is! Well, I'm definitely making a fucking Guardian farm then. Jesus Christ, that's so close. I'm using Prismarine. Yep, I had found an ocean monument literally right next to my base. I'm definitely adding Guardian farm to the list of things I want to do, as I can't turn it down if it's going to be this close. Guardian farms are a pain in the ass to make, but it's always worth it. I went out on a boat, searching for not only these rose bushes, but also some cacti, which I wanted for the dyes I need for the flags. Though, while I was out searching for cacti, I also stumbled across sea pickles, which I might as well take for the lime dye instead of crafting it from scratch. And with that all sorted and the rest of the wood gathered, I finally have all the resources I need to build the SS Dino. So I began work, forgetting to install the replay mod. I'm really fucking stupid. I'll make sure I have it installed for next episode, as it makes for much better building videos. While I build the SS Dino, I want to tell you the story of the ship. It was owned by a fearsome pirate, Captain Rar, also cleverly named by my girlfriend. Growing up, Axel Rar was a weapons merchant. The forgery was owned by his father, Lawrence, who employed him throughout his teenage years. Around the time of his 19th birthday, Axel and Lawrence were out by the sea when they saw a ferocious ship heading towards shore. The flags depicted a monstrous skull, and the chants of the pirate crew could be heard from miles away. Lawrence quickly grabbed Axel, and the two ran off to the forgery. They knew the pirates would be heading towards their village, aiming to pillage and kidnap all of the residents for their growing crew. Axel and his father grabbed hold of their strongest weapons and locked the doors to their forgery. The chants of the pirates could be heard clearly through the thin walls of the forgery, and it wouldn't be long before the crew were trying to batter the door down. With his sword in hand, Lawrence approached the door and pierced it with his sword. The screams of the crew could be heard through the door as Lawrence pulled the sword back, covered in blood. The crew quickly caught on, and it wasn't long before they had found other angles. The crew broke through and attacked. Lawrence and Axel fought hard, but failed. The crew took the two of them as crew onto their ship and raided all of their weaponry for usage. Lawrence and Axel both served as crew members for their new captain, Captain Cutler III. Cutler's ship, the Hangman's Galleon, was the more feared ship across the seven seas, and Captain Cutler III was equally as feared, even by those in his crew, all but Lawrence. Lawrence wanted his old life back. He wanted to return back to his village, save all of his neighbours, and bring back the life he once knew. He had plans to kill the captain and crash the ship into the shore to prevent it from being reused. Cutler quickly caught on, however. He noticed a shift in Axel's behaviour and got suspicious. Cutler gave Axel two options: either tell him everything or walk the plank. Axel, knowing full well that his dad would be executed if he told Cutler what was happening, refused to speak. He was forced to walk the plank, and the whole crew watched and chanted at him for being a traitor. He fell down into the water, his body sinking, and the crew presumed him dead, sailing away from his sunken corpse. However, Axel survived. Axel spent a few days lost at sea, shivering and shaking, until a group of rescues would find him. They brought him back to the shore, in which they fed him and checked his vitals. Over the next few months, Axel would make a full recovery. He returned to the shore, where he would notice a shipwreck. He remembered what he lost when he was left to drown, and he got to work. He rebuilt the ship, rebuilding every function of it, before giving it the name SS Dino. and he set out to sea to avenge who he lost. His father. And with that, the SS Dino is complete. For my first proper build in this world, I'm really proud of the outcome, and I like the idea of giving this world and my builds more lore elements to them. If this proves to be good for the series, I'll keep adding lore to my builds. In my next video, I want to explore the Nether, take on both a Nether fortress and a bastion, as well as maybe getting myself some netherite. Today, I want to go to the Nether, get me some netherite and blaze rods, and fully upgrade my tools to the best they can be. I'm going to start with my tools, as I'm a little pussy who doesn't want to go to the Nether without S-tier tools and armour. First on the agenda, I combined my 2 shovels to make the best shovel I could possibly get, and gave it the name that I spent a very long time thinking about. Timmy. Named after who? Who the fuck knows? I was interrupted in my tool upgrading by a wandering trader who wanted to offer me things I could easily pick up on my local WH Smiths, so of course I resorted to murder. Now, enchantment requires levels, and a lot of it considering the enchantment table is a gamble and a half. However, I had the best XP farm in the game. A shit ton of villagers with hilariously cheap trades. So my method of getting XP for my enchantments essentially consisted of trading a bunch with my villagers, which not only let me enchant, but also made me a fuck ton of emeralds in the process, which I could use to start collecting mending books from Mr. Mendy. I eventually managed to get myself a Fortune 3 pickaxe, which means mining will actually be a whole lot more worth it going forward. I combined the pickaxe with my current pickaxe, which gave me efficiency 5. I slapped a mending book on it and gave it the name Larry. Actually, Lucky Larry. Yep, nothing beats a tool name that sounds like a horrid Henry character. I figured, before I forget, I should probably board Captain Bra onto his new ship. Yep, the lore wasn't just for show. I have an actual Captain Bra to put on the ship. I lifted him up in a boat and boarded him onto the ship. I also took the grindstone and put it as the wheel, as not only does it look like a wheel from the side, but villagers will stand by their work block during the day, so it will look like Captain Bra is standing at the wheel. I provided him with his own bed, which I dyed black for him, before he was finally fully settled into his new home. However, at one point he did escape, and he took an interest in the sheep. I tried to get him out and accidentally let out one of the sheep. Captain Rara seemed to get along with the sheep, so I let it board the ship with him to be a part of his pirate crew. The sheep is yet to be named. I am up for suggestions. I went on to enchant the rest of my armour, which took a long time, so I'll narrow it down. I got my chest plate, named Tip Protector 3000, my axe, named Big Chopper, and my helmet, named So No Head. I did also enchant my leggings and boots, named Don't Skip Leg Day and Super Swimmers respectively, but my recording corrupted, so source trusting bro. Now all that is left is my sword. I also made a bow, which I wanted to try and enchant. It took a while, as swords have a lot of enchantments, half of which are terrible. Oh, you fucking But eventually, this happened.
Oh! Yes! Oh! That is beautiful. Look at that. Oh!
Yes, we love to see that. I also did get my bow enchanted, and I named it. While I was enchanting, I figured I might as well try and get a Silk Touch pickaxe. It didn't take much time at all.
Alright. Yep, I'll take that.
Anyways, with all of the gear enchantment done, that alone took me 2 hours. I love the enchantment table. I finally began the adventure that I wanted to begin ages ago. Let's go to the Nether. I've come to the Nether for business. There are 2 structures that I want to visit today, the Nether Fortress and the Bastion Remnant. My goal is to get the blaze rods and nether wart from the fortress and the netherite upgrade smithing template from the Bastion. I'm gonna go and find whichever structure I find first, and the others will come in due time. I eventually came across a Saltland Valley, which, me being stuck in snapshots and pre-dream bitch babying, thought, I'm gonna find a nether fortress here. With a beautiful stutter, I got the Return to Sender advancement and continued exploring the biome. With no soul speed to my name, I found another method to traverse the soul sand. which I wasn't very good at. And after a quick sniper duel with a skeleton, I continued exploring and eventually came across the first Bastion remnant. I began by finding the best approach to entering the remnant. Piglins alone aren't crazy dangerous, but what makes this structure so dangerous is the piglin brutes and hoglins that inhabit the bastion. My plan was to take on any brutes that I saw with my bow before entering the bastion to raid it. Piglins get a little aggressive when someone steals from them. I couldn't possibly imagine why, so I had to make sure I blocked off their entrance when I looted their chests. I managed to get my first piece of ancient debris from this chest though, so it was worth it. I then had a fight with some piglins which netted me these amazing jump scare clips. And no, they won't be the last. Go away!
Stop it! Command!
I looted this chest when I was surprise ambushed by a ghast. I found a snout armor trim in one of the chests, however didn't find the netherite upgrade. This means I'll have to find another bastion. However, if I find a treasure bastion, then a netherite upgrade is guaranteed to spawn, and from there I can duplicate them. So all I need to do is find a treasure bastion and raid that. So I took off again, but not before the mobs got one last jump scare on me. Yep, I'm a little bitch. I eventually found another fortress and made my way over to it. What I was looking for here was a blaze spawner, as that is the easiest way to get blaze rods. Though, in one of my first wither skeletons I killed, I got a wither skeleton skull.
Oh my god, already? Fucking hell.
Since I had looting 3, I figured, why not also get 3 skulls too? I don't have the blocks for a beacon yet, but I'm sure my villagers will help with that soon enough. I found the blaze spawner, which was good. I was worried I wouldn't find one because in the past I found a fortress with neither a spawner or nether wart, so I'm glad I found one. I farmed up some blaze rods before exploring the rest of the fortress. I managed to get myself a second wither skeleton skull, which prompted me to start searching for the third skull, which took the absolute piss to show up. I found some nether wart in the process, which I dug up to plant back in my base. I searched for ages for the last wither skull, until eventually, it happened.
Yes! I got it! I got the last skull. Okay. I think I'm done with the nether.
However, I was not done with the nether. In fact, there was one last thing that I still needed to find, the netherite upgrade. So I set back out in search of more bastions. The netherite upgrade does spawn in any bastions, just at a low chance, so I'm gonna search any that I come across. However, if I can find a treasure bastion, I'll go in there. It didn't take too long, as I found another bastion pretty close nearby to where I was. After raiding one bastion, it's hard to fear the oh so scary piggies, so I went in there with a lot more purpose and battle, taking out every piglin and hoglin I could find. I also stole all their gold, as you can never go wrong with having an excess amount of gold to your name. After a quick look around, I realised that I wasn't in a treasure bastion, but that didn't seem to matter all that much.
Yes!
Thank fudge for that. I also managed to find Pickstep and the snout banner pattern, so I managed to get everything I could possibly want from the nether, and with that I called it quits and headed back to the overworld. Now that I'm back in the overworld, I have a few more things I need to get done in this video. There's not much point in getting a netherite upgrade without netherite to upgrade, so that's on the agenda. I started off by moving my sheep to another area, which I'll make a pit for them to give them a little bit more space. I will build a barn for them at some point because yes, this is cruel, but I'll need a video to dedicate to it. While I was digging the hole, I was ambushed.
Shit!
Yep, I completely forgot the phantoms existed, though I also forgot the cat scare away phantoms, so it wasn't too bad in the end. In the morning, I moved over all my sheep, which was a lot harder than it needed to be because I stupidly decided to make a 2-block wide bridge for a herd of sheep to cross. Congratulations. Some of them didn't make it in the end. I then dyed all of my sheep white again, as I'm no longer in need of pink and lime wool, and keeping those colours will just end up complicating things. I removed the old shitty ruins of the sheep pen, which made the land look a lot cleaner. I also tamed myself another cat. These are all going to need names and places to be at some point. Maybe one could board the ship, who knows. I started shearing all my sheep, as I was going to need a lot of wool. The idea is that I needed wool for beds, which, when used in a nether, explode. This is what I'm going to be using to find more ancient debris. Another thing worth mentioning is that to duplicate netherite upgrades, I'm going to need diamonds, something I only have one of. So I'm going to need another mining session. So the end of this video will be a montage of netherite mining and diamond mining. So strap in, get your popcorn, and say fuck you to I did some mining off camera. Please don't be a sissy here. Rip my iron. Here we are, back on Minecraft, and I think there's something I want to do today. Currently, the only build in this world is the SS Dino, so I want to change that. I don't want to completely rush my way towards the Ender Dragon, plus I need to collect shit tons of mending books, so I need me some emeralds. So today, I'm going to build a melon and pumpkin farm. But not just the one, god no, that's pathetic. I'm going to build a massive melon and pumpkin, each equipped with 12 fully automatic farms with their respective fruits, enough to trade with a haul of villagers to give me more emeralds than I'll know what to do with. I'm going to start with the pumpkin farm first. However, to do this, I was going to need a lot more villagers than I currently have. My trading hall that I want to build is going to house 32 farmers, each with a melon and pumpkin trade. While the melon trade is guaranteed, the pumpkin trade is not. So it might take a few villagers to get the trades I need for the trading hall, so I'm gonna need a lot of them. So I farmed up my wood and wool, made some beds, and gave all my villagers bread so that they'd... frick. First on the agenda for building the pumpkin farm is clearing out a place for it to go. I want to keep these farms close to my base, as I not only want to build this world out from there, but I also want to keep the farms running whenever I'm home. The more the merrier, in the end of the day. I decided to build it just on top of the hill, above my nether portal. However, That is home to my cows currently, so I cleared out the pig pen because who the fuck cares about pigs, and moved the cows into their new pen. I then cleared away the remains of the butcher's house and placed in my schematic. With the exact position of the pumpkin farm decided, I began digging out the area where I'd be placing the farm. And here's where I ran into the biggest struggle I had with this project, being that I couldn't insta-mine stone. I can with a beacon, but without a beacon to my name, I had to slowly mine each individual block of stone, which was pretty mind-numbing to deal with. That alone made me decide that the next episode will be a boss rush, where the Ender Dragon, Wither and Elder Guardians will all be killed, and I will have every late game item. Until then though, my life was digging a hole. With the hole fully dug out, I began looking at the resources I'd need, which, yeah, I was gonna need a lot of things, some more expensive than others. I began crafting up some of the resources with what I had, however I quickly realised I was not gonna have enough. So I sat down and gathered all of the resources. I started with the acacia planks, which wasn't too bad considering I live right next to a savanna biome. I also had enough dirt from digging out the hole, so that was far from an issue. I needed quartz though, and a hell of a lot of it since I needed 480 observers. So a quick trip to the nether netted me what I needed. I was also going to need a hell of a lot of redstone, iron and gold, so I set out for the caves to gather me some more resources. I'm looking for fucking redstone and all I can find is diamonds. That didn't happen. With all of my ores mined and smelted, I began crafting up the resources I needed for the farm. I made the observers and pistons, which honestly took the most of my resources. From there, the resource collecting was a lot easier. Fuck me, I need me some farms, this was painful. I decided the next course of action would be to collect the dyes I need. Pumpkins are orange, great observation, and therefore I need orange dye, which I can either get from orange tulips or I can craft it from red and yellow dye. Red dye just so happens to be the easiest dye to farm, and yellow dye happens to come from one of the most common flowers. So I decided to just collect a bunch of dandelions and bone meal the hell out of my rose bushes to get the red dye. Because for some reason tall flowers are the only ones that you can bone meal for more. That should be how it is for all flowers. Fucking, it's like that in bedrock. The main block used in the pumpkin structure is concrete powder, which I need sand and gravel for. Sand I have loads of from when I built the Estes Dino. Gravel on the other hand, I didn't have as much of. However, it's not exactly a difficult block to come across, so all I needed to do was go into the floor and dig me up some, which didn't take too long. From there, all I needed to do was craft up the orange concrete powder, which is thankfully only powder, so I don't have to convert it all. Basically all we need now is the colour blocks that are going to be used for the actual pumpkin build. I don't currently have a nether highway, so I had to go and find a mesa on foot, which of course I use chunk base for. I'm not wasting 20 years of my life searching for a mesa for one build. I farmed up some terracotta and came back with all the resources collected, aside from the pumpkins, which I'm building a pumpkin farm, so it's not exactly something I need to worry about collecting. So a bunch of my footage corrupted, because of course it did, but I thankfully have replays of me building this pumpkin farm. Yes, I have the replay mod for this video. I'm still learning how to use it properly, so forgive me if they're still a bit rough. One pumpkin farm just isn't enough for me though, so I had to build 11 more of them. For profits, you know? What unfortunately got lost in the corruption, however, was footage of a pillager patrol approaching my base. So I dropped the build for a second and decided, why not take the raid on? Do you mind those are my fucking crops? I just fucking sat there being chilling on my pumpkin farm. Do you mind?
Shit! There was two there!
Oh my god, no! I didn't mean to do that! Oh, which one? Oh. Are we done? Oh my god, my cat though. I didn't even get a chance to name it. We won the raid, but at the cost of one of my cat's lives. I guess it was the 9th, as it's not respawning. I put my rewards in the chest, including the 5 totems of undying, and made a grave for my lost cat. I've decided that these farms will be made in the cat's honour, as he was lost during the construction of them. Let's all have a minute of silence for Cat. Okay, back to the farms. I'm getting deja vu. With all of the farms fully built, I decided to AFK for an hour just to see how many pumpkins I'd end up with in just an hour. And I ended up with almost a full double chest of pumpkins in only 1 hour. Bearing in mind that some of the top stalks may have only just recently become fully grown, if fully grown at all, and yeah, this farm is busted. This, however, has given me enough to build a pumpkin structure, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I wish my replay saved properly for this build, as it would have been so satisfying watching the pumpkin build up layer by layer. But I'm a baby when it comes to replays, so forgive me. I'll make sure they're working for next episode. And with that, my pumpkin farm is done. Guess I won't be needing this shitty thing anymore. It's not completely done, as I want to build a water canal that funnels the pumpkins into chests in a villager trading hall, so I'm going to do that. Oops. Yeah, I accidentally built a mob farm. Something tells me I'm going to be doing that a lot in this world. I lit up the place and started building up the channel where my pumpkins would flow into. The idea is that instead of the pumpkins entering the chest that I put them in now, they'll go through an automatic dropper, which will drop the pumpkins into a pool of water below that will flow the pumpkins into a place that is easier to access. I started placing the water, replaced all of the chests with automatic droppers, and gave them all a chest to send their pumpkins into. Though, in an hour this chest will be filled to the brim, so I was gonna need a lot more than just one chest. The melon farm still needs construction, but I think I want to break up the monotony of essentially building the same farm again with the construction of my villager trading hall. This hall will house 32 villagers, each with a double chest on top of them which will store the pumpkins and melons. This will give the overflow of fruits more storage to work with. I went with stone bricks and oak logs for the walls and spruce for the floors. The pumpkins were already overflowing, so I really needed the storage. I already had a villager on a boat from a bit earlier when some of them managed to escape, so I decided that he would be my first farmer for the trading hall. I also wanted to zombify and cure these villagers because doing so would lower the prices I'd need to trade with them. The farms produce so many melons and pumpkins where it wouldn't really matter if we did this or not, but I like being able to max out the trays with a single stack of pumpkins instead of needing 2. Plus I know the whole comment section and their godmothers would tell me I could cure them for lower trades if I didn't do it, so I'm gonna do it. To get a zombie villager, you need to let a zombie kill a villager. I know, shocking, right? So I trapped a zombie, which I gave an item so it wouldn't despawn, and slept through the night. However, turns out the zombie had called in one of its friends. No! Fuck! Thankfully they were right next to water, so putting them out wasn't an issue. However, when my zombie villagers started to sing, I accepted that it was done for. I fucked it. Except for the fact that, for some reason, zombie villagers can breathe underwater. I'm not sure if this is a glitch, some weird anti-drowning mechanic with infected villagers, or if they're just secretly Squidward. But zombie villagers can apparently breathe underwater. Go figure. I built a staircase down to seafloor and managed to save the zombie villager. Thank fuck for that. Okay, panic over. Now I just needed to cure the zombie villager. For this, I'd need a fermented spider eye, crafted with a spider eye, sugar, and a brown mushroom. I started panicking thinking I didn't have mushrooms, but I found some in my chest. I must have found them in the nether or something, I don't know. I also needed a golden apple, which was far from an issue either. While I was letting Mr. McScuba dive a cure, I started building a chamber where the zombie would go, which I linked to the villager breeder via a rail system so I could easily take the villagers out of the breeder. My zombie despawned, because of course it did, so I needed to get another zombie. In the meantime, however, my villager cured. so I moved him to the new trading hall. It was, as villagers typically are, really fun and entertaining to work with. I love working with villagers. Where the fuck are you going? Why? Why is it like this? You fucking old. I did it. Anyways, I got myself a zombie, called it your mum, and then realised it couldn't pick up items, so I couldn't give it a weapon to kill villagers faster with. So I tried again, got another zombie that could actually pick up items, called it your mum the second, and started getting villagers for my trading hall. Like I said earlier, however, the pumpkins for emeralds trade is not a guaranteed trade, and what makes it worse is that it's on the second level of trading, meaning that I couldn't see whether the villagers were going to have the right trade until they were already locked in, which meant a lot of lives were lost in this process. Not to mention that... Alright, so lowest thing, she's a hit on top, that's brilliant. These villagers spend about 5 to 7 business days to refresh their trades, which made the process a whole lot longer than it needed to be, which means I had a lot of fun. So cue the montage of me dealing with villagers, because no word of lie, it took me 5 hours to get all of them to behave themselves. Five in a fucking row. Where the hell are you going? No. If anyone ever complains about the inhumane ways the villagers get treated, I just want to remind them that that was 5 hours of my life that I'm never getting back. And I'm sure they wouldn't behave any better if I gave them a proper home, so it's hard to feel guilty. Anyways, with all of the villagers fully moved into their new home, I removed the rest of the railing and finished up the decoration of the trading hall, as there was a couple of missing blocks that needed filling out, plus the exterior. Now that the villager trading hall is done, it's time to move on to the final thing I want to do in this video, which is building the melon farm. Looking at the two farms next to each other alone makes me really want to get this done. They already look so good, even if they are just cubes. Now, the farm I'm building is basically exactly the same as before, except with melon seeds instead of pumpkin seeds, so there's not much new to say about the process. So instead, I want to do the same thing I did when I built the SS Dino, which is tell you the story of the farmer and how him and his pumpkin and melon farm came to be. This is the story of Farmer Joe. Joseph Starr grew up on a farm with his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Starr, and his brother, Michael. The family grew up working in a farm for their boss, Farmer Kenny, who ran the farm. Kenny was a stern man who was strict on having the most hard-working, efficient workers to maximise profits. Each of the members of the Starr family were assigned different roles, with Mrs. Starr and Michael tending to the animals, and Mr. Starr and Joe tending to the crops. Halloween was Joe's favourite time of the year. His work on the pumpkins he was growing finally paid off after so long. People from around the world came over just to get their hands on a pumpkin for their decorations, and they always sold well. Because of this, Joe and his father would receive high praise from Kenny for the work they did with the pumpkins every year without fail. Until one day, the pumpkin production began decreasing in quantity. While the melons, potatoes, carrots and other crops continued to grow, when October was coming around, Joe was getting worried. He had a few pumpkins, but due to the reputation that he had built for the pumpkins growing at Kenny's farm, he knew that customers would be clawing at their chance to get a pumpkin. And with a lower number of pumpkins growing that year, Joe knew that Kenny would be annoyed. The week of Halloween rolled around, and Joe was more scared of his boss and what he had to say than the spirits and zombies a part of the event. Mr. Starr told his son that it would be better for the two of them to be honest with Kenny than to try and hide it. So the two made a daring move and told Kenny that the pumpkins weren't growing as much this year around. Kenny was furious. He was annoyed at the little amounts of pumpkins, but most of his frustration was towards the Starrs for not speaking with him about this matter months prior to Halloween. He threatened to fire the entire Starr family if the two didn't get the pumpkin patch sorted out before next Halloween. Kenny also made the decision that Mr. Starr would be taken away from the fields to work on marketing, as the other crops needed selling to compensate for the lack of pumpkins, whereas Joe was left to tend to the fields on his own. So Joe headed back out to the fields, all alone in the cold of the autumn air. He began collecting up all of the fully grown crops, desperately trying to think of a way to please Kenny. One by one, the pumpkins would be loaded into his tractor trailer and taken back to Kenny's barn ready to sell. Eventually, however, Joe would find something he didn't expect. Alongside all the fully grown pumpkins, Joe found a full-size pumpkin. However, it looked identical to the ones in the early stage of growth. Confused by this, Joe decided to leave it alone and collect the rest of the pumpkins. He took the pumpkins back to Kenny and told him about the ungrown pumpkin he found. Kenny brushed it off as nothing more than a late bloomer and gave Joe an underwhelming thanks for his work collecting the pumpkins. Over time, however, the pumpkin grew. The pumpkin was over 3 meters in height when Kenny began to notice it. Even at this height, however, it looked unripe. Kenny, however, still brushed it off, as people didn't want pumpkins outside of Halloween night, so a pumpkin with this size wasn't worth maintaining. He sent Joe out with a pair of gardening shears and told him to cut the stalk to stop it from growing. Joe walked up to the plant, towering over him. He went around the back of the pumpkin, shears in hand, however he couldn't bring himself to cut the stalk. Curiosity got the better of him. He just had to know how big the pumpkin would grow if he let it. So, against the wishes of his stern boss, Joe only pretended to cut the stalk and walked back with the shears. However, his plan would be cut short, as Kenny's next request was to break down the pumpkin and put it into compost. Joe was put into a sticky situation where he couldn't tell his boss that the plant was still alive, but now he was forced to break it in a way that would be unnoticeable if he didn't do his job. But Joe didn't want to give up just yet. He had a plan. He asked Kenny if he could have some help from his family to transport all of the pumpkin into compost. Due to its size and volume, he wasn't going to be able to do it himself. Kenny reluctantly agreed, allowing Joe's parents and Michael to help him out. Joe brought his family out to the pumpkin, away from Kenny, and told them about the pumpkin. It's then that he had noticed, in that short time that he had gone to talk to Kenny, the pumpkin had grown at least another meter. With the pumpkin growing at an alarming rate, Joe and his family decided to wait out by the pumpkin for the day. The pumpkin kept growing. It got to around 7 meters in height before Kenny came out to the pumpkin and found that the pumpkin hadn't been touched. He was furious, but Mrs. Starr stepped in. She mentioned that the world is filled with many unfed mouths, and with this pumpkin they could make a difference. Even selling the pumpkin in chunks for fractions of the amount of a normal pumpkin, they could still make millions. With this revelation, Kenny reluctantly agreed to let the pumpkin grow, ignoring the fact that Joe didn't cut the stem. Many years later, and many harvests later, the pumpkin stem produced large pumpkin after large pumpkin, making the farm millions. And after Kenny's passing, Mr. and Mrs. Starr took over the farm and became known worldwide as the farm with the giant pumpkins. The melon and pumpkin farm is now complete. I'm really happy with how the two came out, but I'm honestly more happy about this video finally being done, as it was 16 hours of footage I had to painfully edit. And so I did a little bit of mining off camera, and by that I mean I came on to trade with my villagers while editing the last episode. You can call hacks if you want, but with a farm this powerful I really have no reason to cheat. But even if I did, would it really matter with a farm like this? That came out a lot more suspicious than it probably should have. Let's move on. If you watched the last episode, or you're literate enough to read the title, you'll know what this video is going to be.
I plan to beat all 3 bosses / mini bosses in today's episode. This includes the Ender Dragon, Wither and Elder Guardian. I would also include the raid in this video, but I kind of already took one on in the last episode, so I don't feel it overly necessary to include in this video too. However, beating them in a normal way is boring, so I want to cheese them. I have 3 methods that I want to try out that will make all 3 bosses a cakewalk to defeat. Why am I doing it this way? Because every Minecraft YouTuber and their nan beats the bosses in the normal way, and I want to do something at least a little unique where I can. So cheese it is. Step 1 on the agenda is going to be to get myself some gunpowder. I have quite a bit in my chests already, but I was going to need some more if I was going to take on some of the bosses in the ways that I planned. So I ventured out into the sea and began building myself a small gunpowder farm. I ran out of blocks quite quickly, so I ventured into the nether to get me some easy netherrack. I also got myself some soul sand as I was going to need it for the wither. Because I'm a bit of a nerd who likes the ins and outs of game mechanics all too much, I want to explain the farm a little bit. Creeper farms are essentially regular mob farms that filter out every other mob except creepers. Being 2 blocks in height filters out endermen, the trapdoors filter out zombies and skeletons as creepers are slightly shorter than them, and the carpets filter out spiders. From there, the creepers will walk into the flowing water streams and fall to their burning death. To convince them to go down the holes though, I was going to need some cats, as creepers are scared of cats. So, putting the cats in the farm would convince the creepers to run closer to the pits, meaning the creepers die quicker. So, my cats became workers today, working to scare creepers away for the gunpowder farm. However, I did lose a cat last episode, so I had to breed 2 of my cats to get the 4th one I needed for the farm. From there, I transported all of the cats into the farm and sealed it up. I decided to AFK at the farm while I went to grab lunch, and I got a stack of gunpowder in that short 15 to 20 minutes. I'll do a little more AFK in due time, but before I do, I decided that I'm going to take on my first boss of this video. Let's go kill the Wither. The way I'm going to kill the Wither is simple. Withers are known for their mass destruction and ability to fly. So, kill the Wither in the ground where it can't fly and can't break any blocks that matter, and suddenly it becomes as easy to kill as a chicken. So I dug down and spawned the Wither. And then I realised something stupid. Oh shit, I forgot arrows. Oh fuck me. So I had to take on the Wither without any arrows. This boss is so fucking easy, it's embarrassing. Yep, even without arrows or any kind of potion buffs, the Wither is still piss easy. I really don't know why there are people out there who say that the Wither is harder than the dragon. It's just not. Anyways, I made my way out of the cave and made myself my new beacon, which of course I had 0 issues with powering. Why am I built like this? Fuck. Well, I didn't build it right, but that's besides the point. I'm not really sure where to put it just yet, so I'll leave it next to the sheep farm. I'm thinking of putting it at the melon and pumpkin farm, just so I can have it as a waypoint. I'm not sure though. With the beacon fully constructed, I decided, well, the first boss is killed, and the only other thing I want to do in this episode is already done. So let's kill the rest of the bosses then. Why not? The creeper farm I built requires AFKing, which I CBA for right now, so I went out at night on a killing spree, gathering up as much gunpowder as I could find, as I was gonna need it. You guys see this shit? The fuck is that? This is gonna be used for both the Ender Dragon and the Elder Guardians. Next up is the Ender Dragon though, as the End's items are a whole lot more useful to me than the sponges in the ocean monuments. Wait, hold on. There's 2 fucking I have a hunch that a pig got struck by lightning. Oh, got donkey head. Pig head please. Pig head please. Pig head please. Sheep head please. Pig head please. Sheep head please. Sheep head please. Pig head please. Sheep head please. Sheep head please. With the animals not liking me trying to decapitate them, I couldn't possibly begin to imagine why. I decided to start preparing for the end. I made myself the Eyes of Ender and also some firework rockets. The way I want to beat the Ender Dragon is by going to the Outer End Islands early and getting an Elytra. That way I can fly and battle the dragon like a dragon would battle a dragon.
I also decided to get some obsidian to make myself a couple of ender chests. That way I could go in with an empty inventory and get all the items I need for the fight out of the ender chests when I'm ready to fight. To get to the outer end islands though, I was going to need a way to get there. I couldn't take the gateways as they don't exist until I beat the ender dragon. My preferred method of getting there is going to be a flying machine. For that I need slime though, so I ventured out to a swamp and gathered some slime, which is purple because I decided it is. I got home, made a couple of pistons, and then I had everything I needed for the end. I used a tutorial by the master miner to build the flying machine, which is actually really simple and cheap to make, so go show some love to him. The last thing I needed before I left for the end was an unbreaking book. Elytras can't be enchanted in the enchantment table, so I needed a book from a villager. I had mending to repair it, but I still needed unbreaking to extend its potential life. So I took to my villagers and began resetting about 10 trades at a time, looking for an unbreaking 3 book.
Bro thinks it's Mr. Mendy. What the fucking hell?
Why is it that mending shows up so often when you don't want it, but takes about 10 months to appear when you actually need it? Fuck knows, but this took me ages and I'm not happy about it.
Why are you unbreaking 1? You're such a shit. Fuck off. Please, just give me unbreaking 3. You fucking bitch. Fucking ask for you to get in my way. Yes, 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 yes.
I finally managed to get myself an unbreaking 3 book. Is it clear that I hate villagers yet? Anyways, with all that sorted, I loaded up my ender chest and tossed my first eye of ender. I set out looking for the stronghold, which was surprisingly closer than I expected.
Okay, I think it's here. So, I guess I'm just gonna sit down. That was fucking fast.
I looked around, told a scam caller that his parents are disappointed that he scams people for a living, and found the portal room.
There it is! This always feels so fucking surreal every time I do it. Let's go.
Without wasting any time at all, I rushed over to the edge of the end island and built the flying machine. Even when the dragon disapproved, I got it built and set off for the outer islands.
Fuck you, Ender Dragon! I'ma get me some wings, bitch! Haha! I hope I don't die out here, because I literally have no way to get back and I'll lose all my fucking stuff. But, hope it's worth it. Okay, so the end island, there's a little bit of it left there. There's like a blotch of grey pixels and it's gone. So, I don't know how far this is supposed to go, or how long this is supposed to take. But, eventually this will take us to the outer end islands. Ah! It's there! I see it. Fuck yes! End island! Of course we're going to be flying right fucking between 2 of them as well. Fuck's sake. I mean, that kind of just has to stay there. I don't know what to do about that.
And with that, I have reached the outer end islands. The next course of action is going to be to get myself some wings, which I need an end city for. Here I was starting to get really worried, however, as end cities only have a 50% chance to spawn an airship. And no airship means no wings. I've had a few times in my life where finding an end city not only took 5 to 7 business days, but also ended up being a shitty small one with no airship. An end shitty, if you will. But that wasn't going to stop me, as I still had courage to not only get some wings and kill the dragon, but to live up to my promise and get this video done. Plus I'd need to get me some wings anyway, so why wait? The Minecraft gods blessed me this time round, and after enough searching, this happened.
Yes! 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 Oh! I'm so happy my first one was an engine. That's so low as well. Why is that so low?
Anyways, it's time to deal with one of the most annoying mobs in the game. Shulkers shoot out projectiles that hit you with levitation, which, especially when chained, can be a pain in the ass to deal with. Having a bow helps to deal with them, but even then they just suck because they can just close their shell. Though they also have one of the most valuable mob drops in the game, so they at least have that going for them. Oh, did I mention the fact that shulkers can fucking teleport too? Yeah, fuck this mob. Only thing it has going for it is shulker boxes and the fact that it looks a bit like a Pokeball. I took on all the shulkers in the main entity. Oh my fucking god, I hate these mobs. And collected up their shells. I also got some really good loot from all the chests, including loads more saddles. No, I'm not gonna ride pigs with them. I'll get more horses. It then came time to loot the airship, where I got the elytra that I was looking for. I remembered the dragon head too because I'm cool like that. I then enchanted my wings and gave them the fitting name, Flappy Bird. I guess I played Flappy Bird recently, so it was fresh in my mind. With all the entity loot collected up, it was time to head back to the main island and fight the dragon. But not before cheesing an advancement, because this video is essentially just a cheese board. Okay, let's get myself a second elytra then. Oh my god! I want to go fight the dragon, but I keep finding fucking entities. You're taking the piss, aren't you? This sparks the end of the end cities that just keep coming. Oh, for fuck's sake. I can try. There we go. Easy, bitch! Easy! Easy! I already have so many XP levels, I don't even know how much this is gonna matter. I just was sword. And with that, the Ender Dragon was defeated. I grabbed the dragon egg and I returned home. Right, onto the Elder Guardian now. Before I round off with this episode, however, I want to fight the Elder Guardian. I found an ocean monument pretty close to my base a couple of episodes back, so finding one wasn't going to be an issue. The way I intend to cheese this boss is simple. The Elder Guardian inflicts you with mining fatigue, making it so you have to traverse the ocean monument properly in order to find the 3 of them that are hiding there. And TNT doesn't work underwater, so you can't use it to break blocks. Or can you? You see, placing sand over TNT and water and lighting the TNT will cause the sand to fall, which will fall into the TNT when it lights, meaning that the TNT is technically not in water anymore and it will explode, dealing damage and therefore bypassing the mining fatigue. So I headed to the ocean monument and started exploding shit. Now I know the Trident would have made this a whole lot easier, but they're a piss take to get, plus looting is based, so I didn't get one. Anyways, that's 1 Elder down, 2 more to go. With all of the Elder Guardians killed and a close call to my name, I explored the rest of the ocean monument. And yeah, there was diddly squat. No sponge room. There were gold blocks, which
Yay, gold. But I still have an empty ocean monument. I can't complain too much in the end of the day. And that is it for this episode of Minecraft. A successful one, to say the least. And 4 hours of footage is a big step down from the 15 hours I dealt with last episode. So I decided that I wasn't satisfied with the singular beacon I had, so I fought more with the skeletons. How the fuck did you get? Ended up dying evident of my levels, which unfortunately I didn't get on camera, and took on more withers. With the 5 extra withers killed for their stars, I made 5 more beacons and completed my full beacon, which, like before, I had no problems powering. I decided to put them right between my melon and pumpkin farm, which I put underground so that it would reach when I needed to mine, though I'll probably eventually have a designated mine to use instead of a hole in the wall, plus by doing this it doesn't reach far above ground, so I'll move it eventually, but for now it lives below ground. I also chose to dye the beams with some stained glass, green for the melons and orange for the pumpkins, which made them stand out a bit. I like the idea of my major landmarks being marked by beacons, so this might end up catching on. On today's agenda, I want to make a mob farm. Right now I have a shitty creeper farm, which works, don't get me wrong, but I want to upgrade. So today, I'm going to build a massive mob farm, covering all mobs and providing very good rates, decorated to look like an alien UFO. So I loaded my schematic and placed it over where my old creeper farm was. The idea of it is that the mob farm will be in the UFO, and the mobs will drop out of the abduction hole to fall to their death. Now, for this build, I was going to need a lot of light grey wool. Why? Because I hate myself. If I knew then what I know now, I would have used a different block and held off making anything with wool until I had a fully automatic wool farm at my disposal. I went out looking for light grey flowers, which were thankfully pretty close to my base, and I dyed all of my sheep light grey. Over the course of this video, I'm going to come back to shear these to get the wool I need. I need a lot of it, so this is going to be a long process, which is why I'm getting it over and done with sooner rather than later. Yeah. That makes no fucking much sense. Fucking hell. After that stupid, embarrassing death, I began mining up all of the stones I'd need. I was using a combination of stone, cobblestone and andesite. Stone and cobblestone were easy enough, just mine what was around with both Silky Steve and Lucky Larry respectively, but andesite was a bit more interesting. I could mine individual veins of andesite, which would work, don't get me wrong, but it's not the only thing I could do. Some may not know that andesite can be crafted using diorite and cobblestone, so I can convert the ugly, useless diorite that I mined with the extra cobblestone that I mine to make the andesite that I need. Simple and effective. With all of the mining over and done with, I had all the shulker boxes that I needed. Next up on materials I needed was oak planks. I mainly chose these as they're an easily farmable block that can be used for whatever. So I set up another orchard as I destroyed my other one in episode 2 and farmed up all of the planks that I'd need. After I had all of the planks sorted, it was time to move on to the colour blocks. Firstly, we'll tackle bamboo planks. They're pretty easy to farm as bamboo takes no time at all to grow and is easily farmable, but do I look like someone who wants to build a farm and wait around? Anyways, I headed out to the nearby jungle and collected as much bamboo as I could, crafting it up into bamboo planks until I had enough for the build. Before I tackle the other colour blocks, I figured I'd go to the nether and grab some glowstone, and it was only here that I realised how completely and utterly painful glowstone is to farm naturally. There's a pattern here I'm noticing. There's not really any other light blocks I can use in its place, so I'm just gonna have to stick this one out and try and manage. I will build a guardian farm eventually, but for now I'm gonna have to use glowstone. It's not gonna be visible on the final build, so I just need it for the light. I then tackled the black concrete, which basically just consisted of slaughtering some innocent squids and mashing it together with some sand and gravel.
I have a data pack that allows me to put concrete powder in a cauldron to solidify it, and honestly, after using it, I don't think I could ever play without it. It's so useful and saves so much time. If you don't like it, cool. Anyways, that's the black concrete taken care of. I then gathered up all of my deep slate, hoping that would be enough, though I probably should have hoped in one hand and shat in the other to see which one filled up faster, as I was short by pretty much all of it. So I took to deep slate to get some more, which, might I add, even with an efficiency 5 haste 2 netherite pickaxe, still doesn't insta-mine, which made this process so fucking painful. Genuinely, I need to use easier materials. And finally, I had enough deep slate tiles. Surely that's enough of the difficult materials to gather, right? I mean, I'm still gathering the light grey wool on the side, which is painful as hell, so it's by far the end of it. Yay. I gathered all of the redstone stuff, some of which I had left over from the melon and pumpkin farms, so it was easy enough. Though I am running out of redstone, so another mining session is probably due. What the fuck do you mean? I barely even fell! Right, enough dying. Time to tackle the yellow blocks. Yellow concrete I basically had everything for already, aside from the yellow dye. Yellow dye is easily farmable with bone meal and a sunflower, but I don't have a sunflower. So I set out to go and look for one, which I eventually found, snagged, and bone mealed back on my base to get all of the dyes that I'd need for the yellow concrete. With that though, all of the materials are collected. Well, aside from the wool, but that's getting quite close. Plus I'd rather start on the build sooner rather than later. I started by tearing down my old creeper farm, which for some reason the replay mod broke for me, and it didn't seem to like saving any of my replays, so all my replays for this video were lost. Brilliant. I'll have to look into a fix for it, but until then my building will be in first person. While tearing it down though, I noticed something interesting. Hold on. Fucking ocean monument. The one I tackled was over here. There's another one literally right fucking here. I've never seen two ocean monuments so fucking close to each other. Jesus Christ. To not spoil anything, all I'll say is that for future projects I want to have an Elder Guardian, so I'm glad I won't have to travel to South Korea to get one. Anyways, with the creeper farm taken down, I decided to start work on the build. First on the agenda is to build the actual mob farm. How this farm works is that there are 10 spawning platforms for the mobs to spawn on. Due to the placement of the farm being high up and in the middle of the ocean, the only available place for mobs to spawn will be in the farm. So the mobs will all spawn on the spawning platforms. Water will periodically flow onto these platforms through rigged dispensers, which will push these mobs off the platform and into the water pool below, where the mobs will be pushed down to the hole and will be killed to full damage. This is a farm I think is a must-have in your world, which is why I wanted to build one sooner rather than later. I lost a bunch of footage of the UFO construction, so I have to start this footage here a bit late. So I'll show you the construction while I tell you the story of Kayla, a scientist with a hyperfixation on the unknown. Kayla was a quiet kid, one that was typically ignored by her peers in school, and her teachers never saw much in her. She had good grades, but never contributed, and didn't seem to really care all too much about her studies. She passed her tests and exams with flying colours, mostly due to her good luck and retaining information naturally. This was the case for all but one subject: physics. Kayla's physics teacher, Mr. Steer, was a strict man. He had strict rules, and a lot of his students didn't like him. There was dead silence in his classroom, and this was something that bothered Kayla a lot. She got by in his classes by hiding her wireless headphones under her long hair and listening to music. At one point in a particularly dull class, one of the popular guys arrived late to the lesson. While Mr. Steer would try to silence the boy, he took no interest in obeying the rules of the classroom. He was talking to everybody about the possible existence of extraterrestrial life. The class all seemed interested, however Mr. Steer forced everyone to get on with their work silently. The thought interested Kayla, however. After class ended, she attempted to get more information off of the popular guy, however was brushed off for being too weird and too nerdy. Kayla took matters into her own hands. For the next few months, she cared about nothing more than the existence of extraterrestrial life and what could exist outside the confines of the known universe. While her performance in school may have suffered, her interest came first. It kept her happy, and that's what she cared the most about. She crafted a theory, based around her research, possible sightings, corpses located, and strange communications. Kayla had even found the article detailing the exact events that the popular guy bursted into her physics lesson to ask about. With her information, she took to Mr. Steer, her only option, to ask about the feasibility of her theory. While Mr. Steer was strict in the classroom, it turns out he was a lot calmer outside of it. When the annoying popular kids weren't making a scene where he could see it, Mr. Steer felt like he could breathe. Kayla, being quiet, meant that Mr. Steer was a lot more inclined to help her with her theory crafting. While the possible sightings and corpses located were proven hoaxes, the recent articles and strange communications have yet to be proven wrong. Something seemed a bit different about these. Not only were they recent, but even the most trusted sources were talking about the recent sightings. When Kayla got home, she dug out her dad's old telescope and set it up right outside her bedroom window. While looking around, she saw nothing. She did this for a few weeks, but continuously found nothing. She thought about something Mr. Steer said. If there are otherworldly life, chances are it will look vastly different to the ones we've come to expect. Popular media depicts it all the same. If they exist out there, it will likely be a bit more biological, potentially looking similar to the life we have on Earth, unlike the little green men or the one-eyed blobs we've become accustomed to. I'd also be very surprised if a typical UFO is sighted. If we find anything, or if anything visits us, the look of it will surprise us. Kayla realised that if she was going to see any aliens or UFOs, she was going to have to take a different approach. She took the telescope down and set up microphones instead. While visually things may seem different, audible cues are inescapable. Tracking any extraterrestrial life through audio would prove to be a lot more effective than looking for something that seemed atypical. However, that night, all the thoughts and ideas would be proved to be overdone. Kayla would wake up that night to pitch darkness. She called out for her parents, however didn't get a response. She turned on her bedside lamp to see that everything was fine, aside from the lack of moonlight. Looking at her window, she saw a large object blocking the moon. Confused yet intrigued, Kayla quickly put some shoes on and headed outside. The object flew silent, blocking all life from entering the neighbourhood. After a while of standing outside, beneath the large object, it disappeared. The neighbourhood was swarmed with aliens. Mrs. Steele was right. The aliens were different to how they were depicted. They appeared as long, green beasts with 4 legs, equipped with self-destructive weaponry. Kayla quickly ran inside and locked the door. She hid under her table, covering herself with a blanket, and tried her best to not alert the aliens with any sound. She managed to survive the night, and in the morning, news sources worldwide talked about the invasion of aliens that night. In the morning, the aliens seemed to have disappeared. However, Kayla's school and most others worldwide would still close for safety reasons. The following night, the aliens would return, this time without the light-blocking object floating in the sky. Night after night, they'd return, and as time went on, humans made peace with them being a part of their ecosystem. No one knows why they came to Earth. No one knows what they want. But after the discovery that they're deterred by light and afraid of cats, the invasion became more manageable. Now, they are just known as the well-known species, named the Creeper. Honestly, that lore may be a bit rough, but for some reason it was making me want to off myself writing it, so I just wanted to get it done. I don't know what bothered me, it just did. Anyways, the UFO is finished and looks incredible. This is the biggest structure I've built so far, and it's only going to get bigger. But we aren't done. Far from it, in fact. I have one more thing I want to do with this build, which is add some lights using sea lanterns. I was going to need a lot of them, so to do this, I think I'm going to use a trident. Oh. So I set out to the oceans and looked for some tridents. Oh my god, first try! Let's go! I got my first one really quickly, but decided I wanted 2. One for loyalty and channeling, the other for Riptide. So I decided to go look for another, which took the piss to drop. But it happened eventually. Yes! Yes! I got another fucking trident. I then went home with my tridents, enchanted them with their respective enchants, and added unbreaking and mending to them. I named the loyalty one Loyal Bitch, and I named the Riptide one Zoomy Fork. I then set out for the ocean monument to collect up all the prismarine. And I've said this a lot in today's video, and I'm gonna say it again. If I'd known then what I know now, I would have not done this yet. Prismarine is a bitch to get without an efficient guardian farm, and I'm sure that glowstone probably would have worked equally as well. So I don't know why I put myself through this, but I did.
And with that, the final touches of the UFO are complete, and the build is fully finished. I'm super proud of how this came out. It came out exactly how I hoped it would, and it's a very welcome addition to the world. Don't know why, but my bitrate isn't the best in this video. Like, it's set to 10,000 in OBS, but still was bad. But I've already recorded all of my footage, so I'm going to try and get by with it, so apologies for that. I've collected up loads of gunpowder from my mob farm last episode, and crafted all with rockets. I'm going to need a lot of rockets for today's episode, as it's an exploration episode. There are a load of structures in Minecraft, and I want to visit the best of them, as well as some of the new ones added in the recent 1.21 update. So today, I'm going to visit every major structure in the game, collecting all of the new armor trims, as I want all of them. The first structure I want to visit is the Trail Ruins, as I've never been to one, and I want to check them out. So I crafted some new brushes and set out for the Trail Ruins. There are 4 armor trims that can only be found in the Trail Ruins: Wayfinder, Razor, Shaper, and Host, all at an 8.2% chance to come out of suspicious gravel, so I might be here a while. And a while I was here for. I found out quite quickly that I wasn't very good at the whole being an archaeologist thing, and I definitely should have done more research going into this as to what the hell I was looking for. On many occasions did I break suspicious gravel by accident, as I didn't know how to properly loot these structures. What was that, a fucking piece of suspicious gravel? Oh, fuck me all about. Ooh! I forgot about these. Oh, fucking brilliant! Yeah, I love that! Oh yeah, those are a beacon of usage, aren't they? I searched for a while in the Trail Ruins, mining up terracotta, bricks, digging up pottery shards. Ooh! Is this the same fucking thing? Oh no, that's a different one. That's a doggy. And that's a shit. I want a piece of blue dye! Till eventually, this happened. Oh! Yes! Yes, I found one! I found one! Yes! Yes! Razor armor trim. Okay. That's my first armor trim, let's go! Why is there a cauldron here? That's 1 down, 3 more to go. Let's hope I don't get a crazy amount of duplicates. Oh! Oh! Oh, that's new! That was new! No, it's fucking not! I decided to install a texture pack that would show me a red outline around suspicious sand and gravel, just to make my life a little easier. Call it cheating if you want, but A, it's an altered vanilla tweaks pack, B, it does nothing to give me an advantage because if my eyes worked I'd see the gravel anyway, and C, I don't care. Seeds. Oh my god, is that the same one? Wait. Oh fuck, it is! We've got 3 of the same one! Oh, this is gonna be painful, isn't it? Armature. Lead! Fuck you! Yes! That's new! That's new! That's new! Yes, I know that's... I fucking know that's new! Yes! Wayfinder! 2 down! Oh.
Hi, my name is Trey. I have a basketball game tomorrow.
Hello. Hi, sir. With Wayfinder and Razor found, all I need now are Shaper and Host. Something tells me these 2 are going to be an absolute pain to get. Yes! That's another one! Yes! Yes! Is that new? That's new! Yes! Host armor. Host. We only have 1 more left. Yeah. There's only 1 more left in the Trail Ruins. Not Trial Chambers. We'll get to that. Host came quite quickly. Now comes the pain of finding the final armor trim. I predicted it was going to be a pain, and I was not mistaken. Wait, please with the new one. Please with the... I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It's fucking not, is it? I don't want a chicken nugget. This is going to take the piss, isn't it? Wait, yes, please. Come on. Please. Oh. No, it's not it. Come on. No, please. I don't want to brick. Please. No, I don't want fucking blue dye. God, please. No, I have 5 of all of them. It's an armor trim.
It's not a new one. Please. That's not it. Oh. Please. 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 That's not it, is it? Please. Wait. Please. Wait. Yes! Always! Oh my god! Fucking hell, finally! Oh, it's there! Oh. That took too long. No, I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. Fuck this. With 3 trail ruins explored and 3 hours of my life wasted, I finally got all 4 of the armor trims from the trail ruins. But that's just the beginning. We have a lot more to collect, some more difficult than others. Next up, I want to tackle some of the easier ones. I'm just going to go and collect all of the trims from smaller structures with higher spawn rates, just to get the ball rolling a little bit more. Also because I need a break after what happened in the trail ruins. Aww, it's an armadillo. Never forget what you did to the fucking penguin. Firstly, I'm going to go for the wild armor trim, found in jungle temples. I live right near a jungle and my world spawns in a jungle, so one shouldn't be too far. There it is, found it. I went in, channeling my inner Lara Croft and Indiana Jones, and looked around for the armor trim. And yeah, there wasn't one in the first one. Great, so got fucking nothing. Woo! Typical, ain't it? So I had to find another one. Oh, there we go. Wasn't that hard? Easily done. Now on to the next one. I barely even scratched the surface in the stronghold when I went to the end, so I'm going to go there next. Apart from the portal room, I have no idea how to loot these, so I'm going to try my best. All I know about strongholds is that the chests are few and far between, and the library is good for loot. So my goal is to find a library, which took surprisingly ages. There we go. Easy. It's already here. Might as well go and get the spire one. After killing Zubat, I headed to the Outer End Islands to find more end cities, and this just reminded me that I hate shulkers. Not that I needed the reminder, but I got it. Not to mention this trim has a 6.7% chance to spawn in an end city. Fuck, I wish I got one of these the first time I went to an end city. Yeah, there we go! Fuck you! Oh my god, I hate shulkers, I hate everything, I hate... Piss off. No. Right, enough end. Let's get back to business in the overworld. Next structure I want to visit is the Pillager Outpost for the Sentry Armor Trim. For some reason there wasn't an outpost for miles, so that's really fun. Plus I didn't find it first try. Though I figured while I was there, I should gather up some bad omen bottles as I was going to need them for later. My first outpost netted me nothing, so I set out for the next one. Yeah, there we go. Oh my fucking god, you're taking a piss. I swear to god that better be the fucking... Oh my god. What you just heard was my reaction to the closest desert temple to me that I saw on Chunk Base, which wasn't close, but it had to be done, so I set out and hoped and prayed that I'd get it, which thankfully... Oh my god, thank god. I was about to say, I'm not travelling all that fucking distance just to not get it. The final of the easier trims to get was the Tide Armor trim, obtained from the Elder Guardians at a 20% chance. Unfortunately, I didn't get one when I tackled the Ocean Monuments in episode 5, so I was going to need to tackle more of them. I found another Ocean Monument last episode, so I figured I'd take that one on. Though I only want to kill 2 of the Elder Guardians, as I would have want one left close enough to my base for some future projects, so I don't have to travel 25k blocks to bring back another one. Didn't get it, unfortunate. Do you know what else I haven't gotten? Mining fatigue. There we go, finally got it. As I'm about to leave because I didn't get the armor trim. Well, that was unfortunate. Time to go find another one. Oh, got it! Never mind. Let's get out of here then. That was easier than I was expecting. Do you reckon we can get some more coasts? Bet they'll be in here. Bet you £100. Okay, edit out the part that I just said I owe £100. I take back what I said. With all of those collected, there are only 6 more armor trims that need to be collected. Vex, Rib, Bolt, Flow, Ward, and Silence. Some of these are going to be easier than others, so I want to start with the easiest. The rib armor trim is found in nether fortress chests at a 6.7% chance. Chests in nether fortresses are few and far between, as well as being hidden quite deep into them, so finding one was going to be a task and a half. Or so I thought. Yes! There we go! It happened surprisingly quickly. The next one I decided to go for is the Vex armor trim, found in woodland mansions. I mean, this is one way to give the structure some usage. I got out my map and set out for the mansion. Though I quickly found out that the mansion on the map was in Uzbekistan, as I was flying for what felt like years. Oh my god! Mushroom Island. Wow. I was not expecting this. I'll be on my merry way. So I resorted back to Chunk Base. I can't say I didn't try to do it legit. Do you know what, I'm gonna sleep? Because I just straight up don't trust the structure. I'm gonna fucking die. With that death under my belt, my goal changed from being reckless and silly to stealthy and careful. Thankfully, the trim has a 50% chance of spawning, so I shouldn't be here for long. Yep, I'm out. Fuck this. Bye. 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 Fuck you. I've got the Vex armor trim and I'm fucking leaving. Shit this. No. No. I don't ever want to go back to that thing again. Piss off. No. Now that I've made my opinions on woodland mansions as clear as day, I'm going to be visiting a structure that is infinitely more difficult to traverse. Not only that, but there's not one, but two armor trims in this structure, one at a 1% spawn rate. I'm pretty sure everyone knows which one I'm on about here. It's time to visit the ancient city. I brewed up a fuck ton of night vision potions for the ancient cities, as my Fulbright mod hasn't been updated to 1.21 just yet, and I want to make the viewing experience somewhat manageable. And with that, I set out for an ancient city. Fuck, I'm scared. I did some pretty solid live commentary to the ancient cities, so I'm going to let recording me talk for a bit. Yes! It's the first one. It's not the last one. Oh my god, I hate this. Another ward armor trim. Okay, I think I'm okay. I don't like this. In my professional opinion, this should have a silenced armor trim in it. Doors? I want to leave. I'm surprised I haven't spawned a warden yet. I set that off? Just sneak 3, right? Okay. We just need the silence. No. No. No! He's spawning, isn't he? Where is he? Oh my god. I've pissed him off. Do you know what? After interacting with a warden, I think I know what chronic overthinkers go through. There's a warden here, but I think I've gone through all of the chests. I don't think he really matters. You hear that, warden? You don't matter. You're a nerd. No one likes you. Bitch. Oh my god, that was so stupid! No, that wasn't my intention! Fuck, 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 fuck. Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god, get me the fuck out of it! Go, 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 go. And with that, my adventures through the ancient cities are over, and I never want to go back there again. Fuck that. Now I have every armor trim in the game. Every one. Except the 2 new ones added in 1.21. Fun. These 2 armor trims, Bolt and Flow, can be found in the new trial chambers, so I'm going to have to go to one of those for the first time. I have no idea how these structures work. I barely looked at the snapshots. I did my research before going into a trial chamber and figured out that in order to get the armor trims, I was going to need trial keys for Bolt and ominous keys for Flow. This is why I gathered up some bad omen potions from the pillager outpost earlier in the video.
as I was going to need them for the trial chambers. Thankfully, if I was able to take on all the trials, then drink an ominous bottle, I'd be able to redo all the trials and get all the keys that I possibly could from one trial chamber. I hope all of this is making sense to you because I'm struggling to follow. So I did exactly that. I took on the trials with intent of getting as many keys as I could. I'll be honest, these trials actually posed a fair challenge. Not in the sense that I was struggling, but in the sense of it being difficult and fun to take on. Unfortunately, the keys weren't guaranteed, so I didn't get a key from every spawner I took on. Right, my first trial vault. Oh my god, I got it so quickly, what the fuck? The flow armor trim is really common, 22.5% chance, so no surprise I got it so quickly. Now it's time for the difficult one. The bolt armor trim, coming in at a whopping 6.3% chance from a regular trial vault. I was going to need to take on a lot of trials for this, so I wasted no time and got to killing. Yes, there we go! Finally! Fucking hell! And with that, I had finally collected all of the armor trims that are in Minecraft. Now, I could stay here and get a mace, but in all seriousness, I don't really care about the mace. I'll come back for it when I want the advancements. I'm not bothered about getting one now. I headed straight back home and decided on the armor trims I'd like to use for my armor set. After a while of choosing, I settled on silence for the helmet, bolt on the chestplate, tied on the leggings, and flow on the boots. All with redstone as their material, as I personally like the look of black and red, plus it holds sentimental value to me. And this will be the extent of my usage of armor trims. No, I am not going to collect every armor piece in Minecraft. I actually have a life, job, and girlfriend. I don't have time for that shit. What I'm doing right now, I'm collecting up sand for my projects in today's video. I lost about 3 hours of footage right at the start because my SSD got gutted. However, anything past that is okay. Though I've not got much storage space left, this is gonna be fun. Anyways, in today's video, I want to start working on my actual world. I want to add some more builds to my world, but first, I want to make it look good. So today, I'm going to completely revamp the beach, making it look a whole lot better, with details such as sandcastles, beach towers, and a functional lighthouse. To start with, I needed sand, and a lot of it. So I went to some faraway beaches because the closest desert is like 10 kilometers away. Looking back, I should have made a sand duper, but I didn't think about it until I finished, so that's why I didn't do that. Timmy took a beating, but mending is a godsend of an enchant. Now the first thing I needed to do for this project was to build an actual beach area. I'd marked the outline of it before the footage corrupted. Now it's just a case of filling in the outline area, which, might I add, is a pain bearing in mind the sand falls. So I needed to go through and place blocks beneath the sand to stop it from falling. At first, I used different blocks that I found in my chest, making them into slabs so they'd go for longer, but I'd quickly run out of them. This beach is a whole lot bigger than I thought it was, so I was going to need some more blocks. So I set out to the nether to gather netherrack, as it's probably the easiest material to get in large amounts. With shulkers filled to the brim with netherrack, I had enough blocks to continue working on the beach. I was running out of sand, however, so I set out to get myself some more sand. I began gathering some more when a thunderstorm hit, so I decided to use the opportunity to get myself some mob heads, in which I learnt that the datapack mob heads weren't guaranteed from charged creepers. I'm not sure why.
So I focused on the zombie, creeper and skeleton heads. Zombie and creeper heads came really easily since they just walk in a straight line. However, skeletons strafe and back up, which made lining one up in the range of a skeleton really difficult. I managed to recover all my stuff as I had set my spawn in the village, but try as I might, I couldn't find my boots anywhere. So I'll have to make some more of those at some point. Though I did manage to get the skeleton skull, so I'm calling it quits now. The piglin head, I genuinely don't know how I'm going to get one of those, but I'll figure that out at a later date. Anyways, back to the sand collection. Timmy is a proper trooper in this video, coming close to death over 3 times now, and it won't be his last near-death experience. Anyways, I decided to make some new boots, when I noticed I had lost something else. Where's my axe? Where the fuck did my axe go? Oh, that's just fucking brilliant, isn't it? Yep, my axe was gone. I don't need an axe just yet, so I'll hold off making another one. But for now, I'll focus on my boots. I got some pretty good boots fairly quickly, and I named them Super Swimmers II, to honour the legacy of its prerequisite. Anyways, this should be the last batch of sand. For now. And with that, the first layer of the beach is complete. And that is the first part of the beach revamp complete. The beach right now has one major flaw. It's dark, so at night every mob in existence flocks to the beach as somewhere to go. Visually I don't need it to look bright all the time, after all I have full bright, but I did want to go and place a few torches around temporarily until I have a different way to light them. Now comes the second part of the beach revamp, which is going to be building a lighthouse. After all, what are the other sailors on this single player world going to do if I don't have a structure to help them locate land? So I placed in my schematic and cleared out the land so I had a good area to work with. Now I just needed the materials for the build. I needed a lot of concrete, so I set out to get myself some gravel in a windswept gravelly hills. You know, another highway isn't a bad shout. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Sand I already have a lot of, and the build uses red and white dye, both of which I have easy access to. I got home and crafted up a full shulker box of each coloured concrete. I then needed a bit of quartz. Mining it in the nether is a pain, but thankfully there's an alternative. Stonemasons at master level sell quartz, which I didn't know was guaranteed, so I made 6 masons. I'm a dumb bitch. But I got the quartz I needed, which I smelted to smoothen it out. Now, thankfully, the only replay I cared about, the lighthouse build, actually saved. It might be because the actual build of it didn't take very long. I'm not sure. I'll keep trying to use replay, but I can't guarantee it'll be a staple in the series unless I know for a fact it's going to be reliable. With the lighthouse fully built, I decided it was time for stage 3 of the beach revamp, which was building a wall around the land, similar to beaches in real life. I decided on a block pattern for this build, which was chiseled stone bricks, gravel, cobblestone and polished andesite. Polished andesite and chiseled stone bricks was because I had loads left over from levelling up the masons. Gravel I accidentally collected loads from when I got the concrete, and cobblestone is easy enough to get, so I started collecting them all up. And yes, I installed a data pack that prevents villagers from locking their trades. I'm using this more for the buying than the selling, though again, not sure if it would even matter if I was using it for the selling as well. What the fuck do I do with all of these? With all of the cobblestone collected, I started work on the wall. I marked out the outline of the wall with netherrack and used deep slate tiles to mark where the various staircases will go. After all, people around the city in the single player world are going to need ways to get down to the beach, so we're going to need a lot of staircases. I then started work building up the wall. I used a trick the YouTuber Mumbo Jumbo created, where you place all your blocks in the hotbar slots and scroll while placing to randomize the block placement. It took me a while to get the rhythm down, but eventually I got the hang of it. Though by building this wall I was covering up my placement for my nether portal. I do have plans to build it in a different spot, so it's not the end of the world. I also realised that I heavily over-prepared for this, since I barely even needed one shulker box for the materials. But at least it helps when I need high amounts of chiseled stone bricks for future projects, for which I have planned 0. While building the wall, however, I noticed something that made me very sad.
Wait, what happened?
Huh?
Your mom! How? What the fuck happened to your mom? How? What killed? The fucking golem killed it. Next episode's gonna be an iron farm.
Okay, that may have been a half joke because I really need a storage system. We'll see which one comes first. Anyways, back to the wall. I also worked on all the staircases and the walls while building it, just to break up the monotony. With that, the construction of the wall is complete. Well, not fully, I still want to add some more details to the wall, mainly around the top, just to give it a little bit more detail. But I'm going to take a break from the wall and move my sheep out of their hole and off the beach. But first, I wanted to dye them all yellow. My method of hiding the light sources is going to be putting them under yellow carpets, as that will blend best with the beach. I might make a texture pack to replace the carpets with the sand texture, though I'm not sure whether adding borderline custom blocks is really the way I want to go with this series. But I might, it depends. Anyways, I dyed all my sheep, sheared them, then let them all out into the world. I tried my best to lure all of them into their new hole, but there was genuinely so many of them that it was hard to herd them all up. In the end, not all of them survived. However, I did manage to get a yellow sheep head at some point, which I decided to do a reference with and place it in the lighthouse. I'm not sure how obscure this reference is, so I'll give a hint to it. Amphi. Anyways, it's time to get on with stage 4 of the beach revamp, which is the layering. Right now, the beach is a flat plane and it needs a bit of height variety so that it looks natural. So I went over the beach and placed more sand. I'm gonna start to get sick of placing sand in a minute, but thankfully the hours of placing sand could be edited down into 10 seconds, so enjoy the next 10 seconds because I sure as hell didn't. It's not 100% done, but it's looking a lot better with the layers. I want to get a little bit more details in on the walls, so I built up some detail on the walls, on the bottom giving it some more depth, and on the top giving it a deep slate tile top. I gotta kill the weather. Yep, you heard that right. You remember back when I said I wanted every major structure to be marked with a beacon? Yeah, I've decided to commit to that. So I went to the nether and killed more wither skeletons. I took their skulls to the end and tackled more withers. With the 5 withers killed, I went back to the overworld, crafted up my beacons, and placed them in the lighthouse. And I know I keep saying this, but I had no issues powering them. though the shape of these ones were a bit awkward, but I managed to get it looking right. Before we continue with the rest of this video, I just want to remind you all that this is what the beach looked like before the revamp, and I hope this shows exactly why I wanted to do this. Anyway, it's now time for stage 5 of the revamp, which is going to be lighting up the place. As I said earlier, my method of lighting up the beach will be placing torches under yellow carpets, which should blend in well enough with the beach. So I made a fuck ton of torches and started digging holes all around the beach to place the torches in, and cover with carpets. I want to remind everyone that this was basically only possible during the night, as daylight makes it really difficult to tell what needs lighting. Basically, the process took ages and I'm not happy about it. Oh, did I mention that while doing this I wasn't sleeping? Yeah, fuck this mob. I decided to make use of the day and move my villagers. Now I hope that this time the villagers will behave and make this easy for me. However, my hope would have been better used hoping for the hovering inferno to be added to the game. So if that doesn't say everything about working with villagers, I don't know what will.
Move! Why'd you guys swarm the fucking minecart? Sort of revolutionary thing. It was invented in like the fucking 1600s. To be fair, I don't even know if that's true. Don't fact check that. What are you? Yeah? No? What are you doing? Get off your fucking block.
I managed to get them all over into their new hole. Eventually I'll have a place for all of them to go, but for now they can live there. This leaves you. Yeah, fuck you. All that's left to do now is to cover up where the old villager camp used to be and finish up the lighting on the beach. And with that, the lighting is done, and this leads us into stage 6 of the beach revamp. I know, there's a lot of stages, but this is the penultimate one, I promise. Stage 6 of the beach revamp is going to be adding little details. I didn't want this being essentially a big terraforming project, so I wanted to add little details like campsites, a large rock, beach towels, sandcastles, seaweed and sugarcane, and tiki torches. And with that, the beach is fully completed. Well, almost. Here comes the 7th and final stage to this build. There's still one big issue with this build, is that it all takes place on a floating plane, with no natural terrain connecting it to the seafloor. So I went across the beach, connecting it to the seafloor. For this, I used smooth sandstone, as the texture is very similar to sand, it doesn't fall, and it's just overall easier to work with. This process is taking a really long time, but thanks to the power of editing, I can do this. And with that, the beach revamp is finally complete. This took so long to do, as placing all of the blocks by hand took forever, but it's finally done. Thank fuck for that. Last episode I revamped the beach. This marked the start of me building out my world. And in today's video, I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to begin building my village, stocked up with various points of interest, farms, and homes for my villagers. Hear that, guys? You're no longer going to be living in a hole. Some of you will be in less humane positions, but that's a sacrifice I'm sure that you are all willing to make. Right? There's a lot I want to do in this video, so let's not waste any time and get on with the first build. The first structure I want to tackle is the iron farm, as most of the other structures are going to require some iron. So getting a farm made sooner rather than later would be beneficial. This is, surprisingly, the first time I've ever built a functional iron farm. I've wanted them before, but they never worked for whatever reason. I lost loads of footage from me gathering materials, though the materials I gathered were just wood, stones, and some quartz I traded for, so it's not the end of the world. Trust me, I'm working on getting more storage, but I do have replays, so here's the build of the iron farm. Now, an iron farm without villagers is literally impossible to make, unless you use zombies. Yeah, I'm gonna do the villagers. So I'm gonna need some villagers. This is the 5th time moving villagers in this series, and no, they haven't got easier. Move! Get out of my fucking way! No, don't go back, you stupid Move! Though this episode should be the last time I'll ever need to move them, so my pain will be over. Though I got some good clips out of it, so enjoy my suffering. You guys get out of the way! To be fair, sometimes you gotta wonder whether villagers are just kind of like starting a rebellion. And that's what's going on here? Wait, where'd it go? I was over here fucking here again. If you would move, that would be greatly appreciated. Are you fucking joking? Well, the villagers aren't doing it, it's the fucking golem that's doing it. I can't wait to fucking harvest your species for all they're worth. What the fuck? Why the fuck would you do that? This job never gets fucking easier, does it? Thing is, right, they have every right to protest this shit. But do they have to? Anyway, the villagers are in. Now it's time to build up the structure for the iron farm, which is a tall, medieval forge characterised by an iron ingot sign on the front. This is one of my proudest structures, and I'm happy to finally be building it. And with that, the iron farm is complete. Well, kinda. I still need to get a pillager in there, which I'm going to do when the patrol spawns. The closest pillagers are like 1,000 blocks away, and the thought from bringing one back there is painful. In the meantime, let's fill up the forge with workers, in the forms of toolsmiths, weaponsmiths, and armourers. Yep, we're getting an encore of episode 4's villagers. That's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. I didn't cure them as iron isn't going to be my form of emerald income, otherwise I would have made a much bigger farm, but more importantly I just forgot. Now I just need to wait for a pillager patrol to come, which I managed without recording, because I'm an idiot, but the captain's there. I'm used to the method of putting the pillagers in a boat, which will make them miss every shot.
I dub thee King Roach.
I then took King Roach to the top of the iron farm, placed him in this little cubbyhole, and with that the iron farm is complete. I'm really proud of how this came out, but we're not done. There's more structures I want to build in this episode. Before I build the next structure, however, I need some beacons. Yep, I wasn't joking when I said that I was committing to beacons on every major structure, which means I'm gonna need a lot of beacons for this video. This is gonna be fun. I'm not going to do a wither killing montage every time I kill them, at least not separately. I think going forward the wither killing and skull collecting will be shown in the corner of the video when I'm showing the replays. Anyways, like I've said many times before, I had no problems powering this beacon. And I don't think I ever will, so I'm going to stop saying it because it sounds flexy and annoying. I have a melon farm, I'm not Jeff Bezos. Anyways, time to move on to the next structure, which is the sheep farm I want to build for my shepherds, of which I have 0. But I want to build a structure for every villager profession, and shepherd is one of them. The first thing I want to do for this build is clear out an area for it to go. I want to put it right next to the melon and pumpkin farm, as that's where most of my farmland related structures and farms are going to go. I think it will look really cool when it's finalised. Thinking about it now, this is taking a while. Maybe I could just... Yep, this will speed up the process. With an area cleared out, it's time to start collecting materials. I don't know why I do this to myself. I use 2 materials that are asked to collect. Mangrove is shit because the trees are awful and the swamps suck to traverse, and deep slate is slow as fuck to mine. I need to stop using it, but it just looks so good. The quartz I needed was thankfully faster to collect, as villagers do God's work when it comes to materials. I also had other smaller materials to collect, like woods, redstone materials, and a few wall decoration blocks. But with that, the collection is complete. I know I'm going over the material collecting really quickly, but if I spend 5 minutes on material collecting for every build, this video will be way longer than it's already going to be, so I'd rather just show tidbits. Anyways, here's the barn replay. And with that, the barn build is complete. And with the beacons put in, there's only one thing left to do. Bring all the sheep into their little cubby holes in order to be sheared by a machine for the rest of their pixelated lives. I'm really nice to animals, I know. Through the process of bringing the sheep up, I lost a few lives and brain cells. But once they were all in, I could finally call the sheep barn complete. Except for the villagers. Villagers. Anyways, moving on. I want to flesh out this area of the city before moving on to the next structure. The first thing I want to do for this is till the hill behind the farms and turn it into a massive wheat farm. I lost my wheat farm before this as I needed to clear out land. I want to make an obnoxiously large wheat farm so I never have to worry about not having wheat again, though it will mostly be for decoration as it will be very impractical. I also designed and built a windmill in order to add a little bit more to the wheat farm I'm building. I also decided, why not give it an interior, which I decided to do by turning it into a practical base. Yes, this dino isn't really that practical as a base, plus I needed to sort out my storage. So I did that. It took a painful 3 hours to get all of this sorted, but it's finally done. I'm going to stick with this temporarily until I have a proper designated base, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now I just need to terraform this mountain in order for it to look how I want it to look. The next thing I want to build is a bee dome. Yes, you heard that right. It's exactly what it sounds like. A dome for bees. I'm going to use it as my farm structure for everything that needs a farm, like cactus, bamboo, and especially sugarcane, as well as the aforementioned bees. Collecting honeycomb in the past with the one time I decided to use it was a pain, so I want to have a consistent farm. I placed in my schematic, prepared the area, and began collecting all of the resources, which was a massive collection of glass, of which I collected more sand for. I'm starting to feel bad for this beach. I'll get a sand duper soon, I promise. As well as the foxtail sand I needed, I also needed a lot of wood, various flowers, and a lot of beehives. The natural kind, not the craftable kind. Bee nests have a 5% chance to spawn with a tree when it grows, if the tree grows directly next to a flower. That sentence was really hard to say. I'm using that take. It wasn't perfect, but it was just good enough. So I spent a lot of time planting, bone mealing, and cutting down trees, taking the beehives if and when they appeared, until I collected all the bee nests I needed. From there, it was just a case of building the bee dome, which I'll show now. All farms for the bee dome will be built underneath it, with a water elevator and a drop leading up and down it. I'm going to need to hollow out the area, which I decided to use TNT for. Ow! Oops, that was a mistake. That embarrassing death lost me my bow. I have no idea where Pew the second went, so I'll have to make another. Anyways, I finished off clearing the area and began resource collecting. This consisted of a lot of dark oak planks, spruce logs, glass, chests, and just a lot, but mostly wood. This was easy enough to collect as wood is easy to get, and the less easily farmable items I have left over in these chests. God, I love having a coherent storage system. Now it's building time. I think with this video I bit off a lot more than I can chew in terms of the project. I didn't have a clear idea as to how to build the whole village. I've had ideas that appear and come around, but for a full village concept I wasn't 100% certain on how I'd do it. This may have to be split into 2 parts, but I'll see how much I can get done in this video. It's already taken a long time as is, and I don't want to leave you all waiting for this for too long. Though I'm just happy to finally have a proper sugarcane farm. Good, as I was running low and starting to worry about my rockets. I also built this little system here which will help me to refill the honey and comb farms with bottles and shears respectively, so that I'll never have to worry about running out. This could be better, but I'm me, and I'm not a smart person, so I'll take what I can get here. The next thing that I want to build is something interesting. I need a build for my butchers and leather workers, and I had no other idea on what to build other than a slaughterhouse. So that is what I built. If you're wondering why my slaughterhouse looks like a Satanist church, it's because of a few reasons. I have a phobia of corpses, making me necrophobic. As such, I was definitely not going to Google slaughterhouse to find out what one looks like. Not only that, but slaughterhouse is something that you should definitely never Google, phobia or not. So I had to get creative. This is Slaughterhouse, the current 10th hardest geometry dash level. This was my inspiration for the Slaughterhouse build, as it's literally the only thing I can reference without traumatizing myself. I made the build look like a hellish organic structure to reference the hell-themed level of Slaughterhouse, and added some upside-down crosses to reference the transition, hence the resemblance to a Satanist church. Because of this, I'm going to need to get a little exotic with my resources, so I took to the nether to collect one of 3 resources, being crimson wood. Now, I went into this expecting it to be easy, not realising I was going to need around 5,700 crimson stems for all the crimson wood blocks. Not only that, but the tree capitated data pack that I have installed doesn't work on the nether trees. I guess they are closer to mushrooms than they are trees, so that kind of makes sense. So I had to go back to default settings and farm the trees as I probably should have been this whole time, which was a pain in its own special ways. No, I understand. No, I get it. You guys don't like deforestation, I get it. But it's hardly a forest, these are kind of mushrooms. Oh, did I mention that the nether wall blocks don't decay? Further making it harder to keep track of what trees I've actually mined? Yeah, fuck this material. But I got it, and I never want to do it again. But knowing me, I still will. Next up is nether brick, and red nether brick. This is also going to be arse. I spent a few days smelting some nether bricks, farming some nether wart, and crafted up the nether bricks I needed, occasionally collecting netherrack to get the rest I needed. Then I moved on to collecting the blackstone, which realistically I should have just used pigments for, but I naturally make things harder for myself than I really need, so I took to the nether mines until I had all the blackstone that I needed. I stepped back to the overworld and began building, so here's the replay now. No worries were harmed in the making of the slaughterhouse. Trust me on that.
It is.
Fuck off, did I die there?
Help yourself!
The last thing I needed to do was bring all the animals into their pens. I collected up all the nearby animals, including the ones who thought that they escaped by hiding in the basement. You thought you were slick, huh? I also brought up all my cows from that pen that I never ended up using. I should probably just put them out of their misery, but that'll come when I need leather. I could have made automatic farms for the meat and resources from these animals, but I figured I wouldn't use them, so I decided against it. Instead, I decided that the slaughterhouse would be used as my nether portal building, as I really needed a proper stationary one. So I took to the end, grabbed some obsidian, built the portal, and with that the slaughterhouse was complete. I went on to do some terraforming on the hillside, which I'll show here. In terms of structures and POIs, I think I want to call this one my last. mainly because the structure is a very important one, similar to the slaughterhouse and other portal that I definitely need. This structure being the mine. It's a small one, so it won't take too long. I located where I wanted it, dug down a bit before deciding that this was going to take too long and blow into place of smithereens. The way this is going to work is that the structure will have multiple floors to mine on, depending on what resources I need. So I built a few floors before deciding, why not bring in some villagers? This was going to be even worse than before, which is why I'm choosing to talk about it in this video. Remember back in episode 4 when I spent 5 hours sorting out the villagers, citing the fact the pumpkin trade wasn't guaranteed? Yeah, this is basically that, but 10 times worse. I want to get a villager with trades for terracotta, collecting all of them. In other words, I want 16 villagers with every type of terracotta. The reason it's 10 times worse than the pumpkin trade is because where the pumpkin trade is only on tier 2, the terracotta trade is on tier 4. At tier 4, the villagers will sell any of the 16 coloured terracotta as well as their glazed counterparts, meaning that not only is there a 1 in 32 chance to get the terracotta block I need, but there's also a chance that the mason villagers will sell 2 glazed terracotta variants, of which I don't want. This trade being on tier 4 meant that I was forced to trade up many villagers to tier 4 in order for the 1 in 32 chance to get the trade I needed. This wasn't an issue at first, since I needed all terracotta types, but as I collected more and more, the harder it got to collect the final few terracotta colours. But I finally got it. Oh, fuck yes. This is the worst I've dealt with villagers, but at least I only had to get 16 of them, which was half the amount I needed for the farmers.
I then moved on to decorate this side of the village. I started with the back, building up a wall to surround the builds I've made in this video, before moving on to a forest to conceal the slaughterhouse. That way I don't have to think about the fact I built one. I then started terraforming the landscape so they would fit what I wanted best. After that, I connected all of the structures together by using dirt paths in order to make this feel less like a collection of landmarks and more like a true village. I then added some trees around the place to add some life to the world. I then went around and added some details such as lights, extra melons and pumpkin patches near the farms, and with that, I think I'm going to call this side of the village complete. Overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Of course, there are parts of the village that still need expanding, which I'll get around to doing. But before I do that, I'm going to finish up the rest of the village and give all of my villagers their forever homes. But this video is long enough and this project is really hard to do, and if I brute force it, I'm going to lose motivation. So forgive me for splitting this up, but it had to be done. Last episode I began work on my world, building out the village with various structures and POIs. But today, I want to take a break from it. I want to begin working on my biggest project yet. Something I've never managed to complete, no matter how many times I've attempted it. But now I have a dedicated world, I can finally attempt this, and hopefully succeed. And I've got over 200 more days before 1,000 days, so I'm going to see if I can do it in time. I'm going to build a mega base. I need to do this sooner rather than later so I can focus on building out and finalising my world. But to do that, I'm going to need... oh, fuck me, alright. So I took to the mines to collect all of the stone I needed. I could have built a stone farm, but I kind of like the idea of having the mine as a way to show all the stone I've collected. It'd be a spectacle of all my structures in this world, especially my mega base. I have 30,000 stone blocks to mine, and that's just one of many resources I need. Jesus Christ, this mine is impractical, but I almost don't care. I like it. That's 17 shulker boxes full of stone that I needed. Jesus Christ, this is going to be long. Next up, I'm going to need...
Oh no, I have to figure out how the fuck to do it. I've been putting on for too long. Okay, no more massacring an innocent beach. It's already dead enough. I'm going to do what I realistically should have done for the beach project, and that is building a sand duper. Now the process of building a sand duper requires an end portal, and I don't really want to fuck up my closest end portal as it's way too close to my base for me to not make a build out of it, so I'm going to save that one and go find another one. But first, to make the travel back and forth between stronghold to home base easier, I'm going to build a nether highway. To do this, however, I'm going to need access to the nether roof. To do this, I had to go up there, use an ender pearl glitch, and then break the bedrock beneath using another glitch. Now the issue is the fact that I forgot to note down the coordinates of a single bedrock block. Did I? Oh my god, I'm so fucking dumb! Hey, that's complicated things. Quite a lot! I fucked up! So I had to brute force it because I'm a fucking idiot. And that took a stupidly long time. That design wasn't working, so I switched to a different design, and... Okay. I did it, but it was wrong. With that, I cleared many blocks of bedrock until I finally broke through. Yes, we're in! With that knocked out of the park, it was just a case of finding another stronghold, which I found. Oh, hello. Yeah, I'll take some diamonds. Been a while since I've had some diamonds. And or a bedrock. Never mind, I didn't. I'm fucking stupid! Now I've stopped being stupid, I went to the correct coordinates and located the end portal room. I built another portal, which I linked to one on the nether roof, before digging out the area, breaking the frames, then trying my best to build the sand duper. I then built a chunk loader, and with that, the sand duper is complete. To put into perspective how busted this farm is, its rates are 36,000 sand an hour. That's not only double the amount I need for all the glass, but also more than the amount of stone I needed. Not only that, but this also works for concrete powder, gravel and red sand. This is going to be so useful, I can already tell. Now that I have about 1 million blocks of sand, I decided to smelt it all up into glass, as I'm going to need over 15,000 glass blocks, times 2 for both types of glass. I'm thinking about this now, and I'm not surprised I've never done this before. Gathering all these blocks is hard enough, let alone placing them when that time comes. I actually want to die by the end of it, I swear to God. But no dwelling. I have time. I built a super smelter, utilising a stack of furnaces, which I used to smelt the glass in. While I waited for the glass to smelt, I collected up the dye, which consisted of slaughtering the population of squids. God, I wish there was a better way to do this. Anyway, I finished collecting up all the black dye I needed. I crafted up all the black glass and then realised I was going to have to do this all again. For the grey glass. Fuck's sake. If black dye wasn't so hard to farm, I would have done so. But farming squids and or wither roses could fuck off. Anyway, I crafted all the glass up, and with that, the glass collection was complete. Next up... Oh, I hate my life. Right, deep slate. What am I going to do about it? I have 35,000 blocks in total to mine if my maths is correct. That's more than the stone blocks, and they don't insta-mine. Well, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet on this one. There's no way to farm deep slate as far as I'm aware, and I tried looking up duplication methods and came to nothing. So I'm gonna go down to the mines and just dig it. I won't waste your time though, so here's the monumental amount of deep slate I mined. So my game crashed and the default settings came back, and suddenly I've got the tutorial. This asks me to break a tree. What fucking tree? I'm in the floor. Well, that took a fucking hot minute. I started on day 818. I crafted up all the deep slate tiles, and only then did I realise that I had mined an extra 8 shulker boxes of deep slate. So that was a massive waste of time. But this means I can continue to use deep slate and continue to cause me pain, so yay. Anyway, that's the deep slate done. Deep slate is the last material in the 5 digits, so it's all downhill from here. Next up, I need black concrete. Now I just need white concrete. Now I just need yellow concrete. I also also needed red, green, lime and grey concrete, but you get the gist.
Now it's time for some resources that are easy to collect, so I'll cover those in rapid fire material collecting. I needed red, orange and yellow glass, which I was able to get with glass I had left over and dyes I already had. I needed glowstone, which I traded with my cleric. I needed black carpet, as well as white and green wool, which I used my wool farm for. I needed green terracotta, which I used my stonemason for. I needed stone stairs and slabs, which I used some leftover stone I mined for. And I needed mud bricks, which was easy enough to get as it's just dirt and wheat. The next set of items I needed to collect were all nether blocks, so I took to the nether and began mining them. I found a crimson forest, which I needed for its nylium. I mined the basalt pillars for the basalt, as I didn't need much. I dug out some soul sand and soul soil too, as there was a soul sand valley nearby. And finally, the blackstone, which I converted into bricks, stairs and slabs. And with that, collecting all of the nether blocks has been completed. Now it's time for the part I am not looking forward to, as it involves going back to the ancient city. I need skulk. Not only do I need skulk, but I also need shriekers. So I need to go out of my way to actually get them as opposed to avoiding them like usual. This means I was a lot more likely to encounter wardens. I got a hoe from my villagers, enchanted it, upgrading it, forgetting about the advancement, and took to the ancient city. This won't be too bad. I mean, I've been here before, right? This doesn't look like a city I've been to. Somehow I ended up in a brand new city. This might have come from resetting chunks, but I don't remember ever resetting the city, so I don't know what happened here. This makes things a bit difficult, as I didn't bring any wool, as I assumed I'd already disarmed the shriekers last time. I'm just gonna have to try my best here. Oh bollocks! I'm not having a good time. Sake! What a warden! Oh, balls! I stood on it! Oh, grow up! For fuck's sake, I just got back. With the shriekers disarmed and collected, I collected up all the skulk I needed. And with that, the skulk is complete. Now all I need to do is a quick mining session for redstone and gold, and an AFK session at my mob farm for more bones, and I will have finally collected all the materials that I needed. Now it's building time. That had to be, hands down, the biggest structure I've ever built in this game. And the worst part about it is that it's not even done. I still have a lot more that I need to do. But before I do, I think I want to connect the base to the mainland. So I'm going to build a bridge. But you came here for the mega base, not a bridge. So thanks to the power of editing, I'm going to do this. Wow, look at the bridge. It looks fairly bare bones, so I might add some lamps to make it a little less dull to look at. Moving on though, it may come as a surprise to you that the exterior of the mega base is not complete. I have a ridiculous task ahead of me that I'm not looking forward to, but it'll also be really satisfying, so I'm also looking forward to it. This layer of the base has a noticeable gap in the flooring. I'm going to be filling that gap with lava. This is definitely going to be more painful than I think it will be. The first quarter is done. Hot take, this is actually a really fun task. I'm enjoying myself here. I think I'll finish this up with a stream. Twitch.tv/RNOL2512. I'm going to try streaming more this year as I realised how good it is for storage management. While I was streaming, however, this happened. If I die in the lava, I'll just end stream, can't I? The stream needs a horror attack. My god! Fuck! Fuck! What the fuck hit me? I'm dead here. I've lost my bucket. Thanks for placing down my choco boxes. Wait, if I could save and quit. It'll give me like spawn immunity for like a second and I can just keep doing that. This is, call this cheating if you want. Sorry, I wrote IGN. Do you reckon that would work? No, I'm dead. I mean, it was worth a shot. Nice try. I mean, like, I had to. I do have another elytra. Thank God. I should probably fucking embossed. Oh my god. Oh, I'm actually flubbernugged. Oh my god. Okay. Right. Give my shit back. Did you die? Yes. I was down here getting some lava and fucking this dickhead locks me in. I'm gonna go kill him. But yeah, you will see that absolutely incredible death in the video. This also happened too. Wasn't my proudest stream, can't lie. Terrifying for a stream, very good. Would I have a drawing competition? You know, it's a few more. I prefer not to speak. No, I'm gonna die again! I wasn't paying attention! Despite dying twice, losing 2 elytras, and therefore being on Flappy Bird the third, I was able to complete the lava placing in the base. I really enjoyed streaming this, so I think I will do it again. But with that, the exterior is complete. Now, the base isn't done. I still have the interiors to do, though the main materials for the interior is wood, so nothing too hard to gather. I also needed glowstone, which I traded for, blackstone, which I used leftovers and mined for more, a shit ton of carpets, which I used my wool farm for, and a shit ton of hoppers, which, yeah, realistically I need a more powerful iron farm because getting enough iron for this was awful. Anyway, with all that collected, here's the build of the interior. Now I know it looks done, but oh no, we're not done. There are 3 things I still need to do in order to complete this project. The first is setting up the beacons. So I took to the Nether Fortress for the skulls. I needed 51 skulls for 17 beacons, which is easily the highest amount of beacons I've got in one go. But it's been a hot minute since I fought a wither, so let's do this.
That took a solid 4 hours, but it's finally done. I headed back, set up the beacons, and with that the base is complete. Except, not really. There are 3 plimps in the base which are designed to store 3 valuable blocks: the dragon egg, netherite block, and conduit, 2 of which I don't have yet. So I'm gonna quickly go nether mining to grab some netherite. Once I did that, I began smelting. Turns out I already had all the resources for the conduit, so I haven't got to worry too much about that. Once I smelted up the netherite, I crafted the block, filled the plimps, and with that the base is complete. Now I just need to move in. I need to take all of the items from the old base and move them in. Except that's really boring and time consuming. I don't want to do that. So you know what? I'm just not going to do it. I don't want to move all these items, so I'm just not going to do it. They can come over here in due time. Anyway, now all that's left is connecting the current base to the floor. Well, this is going to be fun. And with that, the base is finally complete. There's a few more things I want to do, but I want to call it quits for this video as it's taken long enough. All that's left is to move me and my animals in. So I took Lois, my last remaining cats, and these 2 dogs I honestly don't know where they got. And I took them to the base, where they now live in this area. Now I can finally rest, knowing that I've successfully built a mega base. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button and possibly share with a friend if you think they'd be interested. And until next time, goodbye.